Welcome to Secrets of the Art Business podcast. Practical tools, insightful conversation for the curious art professionals. I'm Daniela Duppen, your host for Season 1. I'm the founder of the Bri and Daniela blog and also an art professional for the past 15 years. I met some really interesting artists, curators, collectors, and professionals that I hope will give you some great insights into the art business. And why not? We're gonna find some great secrets. So join us for the conversation and for this incredible journey. Welcome to the final episode of Secrets of the Art Business podcast. I have here with me in the studio the lovely Francesca, or Bri, I don't know, multiple names. We wanted to bring you here because we've been starting a collaboration actually with this podcast. So in this final episode, we wanted to actually present you because you've been at the heart of the podcast. The podcast wouldn't exist without your initiative of starting it, and you're the founder of the SKT Gallery and SKT Spaces. We'll get to know you a bit better in this final episode, but you might have seen the SKT logo and also in the notes of the podcast for every episode. So you're fully part of this program. And in this final episode, we wanted to get to know you a bit more. And also we're going to recap and go back and look at the previous episodes and just draw some conclusions and also talk about the future and what's going to happen next after this podcast, really. And also for SKT Spaces, all the changes and the evolution. So welcome to the podcast, Bri.
Yeah, I'm super happy. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Finally, we have
Finally, you're here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm always behind the scenes.
Yes.
Listening to everything. It's super interesting, but I'm really happy to be here and to talk to you and to go through all the things that happened during these recordings.
And you're part of the team, you're the team of the podcast, and you're also coordinating a lot of different activities for the podcast. And for our listeners, you don't see the fully behind the scenes, but there's also Max and there's Diego as well. So I want to, in this episode say thank you, because without you, without all the technical support, this wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, no, of course. They are amazing persons, and I think that this podcast actually is a great mixture of this different know-hows and expertise among professional in the art, music, and entertainment business. So the production is by us, like by YMX and SKT, and then you put all your knowledge and all your secrets, really, and you shared with us all your contacts, and you invited amazing guests.
I tried to.
Yeah.
Not easy to find. It's not easy, especially now with all the restrictions. And also, I wanted to be a bit ambitious sometimes and bring guests that were, quite international and quite well known. And it was not always possible, so I had to fight the balance. But always also give, I think. I want to give variety to the podcast and bring really different guests. But tell us about the philosophy of how the philosophy of SKT and then me as the blonde art dealer and the podcast of the Secrets of the Art Business came all together. What was the link?
That's what I was trying to say. To me, we actually share a lot of concept and entire philosophy. That's why we came in contact for a casuality, because I was following you as the blonde art dealer and I liked what you were doing, and I wanted to have a piece of you in SKT because I think it's super important. And basically what we are trying to do and what you are trying to do with the blonde art dealer is to break the boundaries of the art industry and make it accessible to everyone, because we know that of course there are some exclusivity in this world, but at the same time it's full of artists and creative people so talented that we can have access to, that we can talk to. So SKT together with Blonde Art Dealer and then the Secrets of the Art Business as a podcast as the aim of bring artists, art lovers, passionate, and collectors, potential buyers, and people from the art industry closer to each other in a unique world made of people passionate about art.
Yes, I mean, when I had the idea of the blog, I wanted to make it first fun because I think, the art world is very serious and, it can be very academic.
Yeah.
And in that sense, it becomes not very open or approachable because people think, oh, if I don't know this and that, if I don't have this knowledge about the art or about the artist, if I'm not an expert really, most people say I'm not an expert about art, so I don't feel comfortable maybe collecting, or as an artist maybe I don't feel comfortable showing my work and being out there. But there's so many examples of, and as I think we've proven through the podcast, through the guests that we have, there's so many examples of people that just really took the chance and maybe try to do things a bit differently from the usual route of maybe artists, gallery, gatekeepers. And I think with the last year and everything moving online and everything changing, I think there's so many opportunities of seeing things a bit differently. It's funny because I'm now trying to understand a bit better Damien Hirst, and I'm trying to write an article about him. And I got one of his early books with a guy called Chris Burden, who interviewed him. The book is just interviews of Damien Hirst. And I went to see his exhibition that he curated himself. It's not a news, that he curated exhibitions. Yeah. Actually, the first ever exhibition that he did, that's how he sort of broke into the art world and he got the attention of Charles Saatchi and so on. It was his initiative. It was him who actually got to talk to investors and got to talk to people who then actually asked them for money to then finance his exhibitions. And then during this exhibition, he got noticed by, the right people, if you say. So, and it's funny that now, and again, in a year of crisis, he's really going back to full force of, again, curating his own shows, promoting himself, doing a lot of things on his own. And as much as we love and hate his work or his approach, or maybe the way he operates sometimes, you have to recognize that he's always consistent. He's always doing things on his own. He's always doing things a bit differently, in the traditional art world. Or even when he did the auction in 2008, in the year of crisis, when the market crashed, and he did this very successful auction directly with SOTABs. Again, he cut the dealers, he cut this person, he didn't care, he just wanted to do this project, and he did it, and he was hugely successful. And I think that's a proof that you have to dare, you have to do things a bit differently. And when many people say to you, it's not possible, or it's a no, he doesn't take that as an answer, and as we should not, I think. But yeah, of course, there's always a lot of difficult parts.
Yeah, no, but I totally agree with you. I think this is really like the basis of what we're trying to do together with SKT, with your brand, with the podcast. I think that we have to do things differently because we cannot trying to do things as it was before doesn't exist anymore. We have to look forward and to understand that yes, it's good to follow the rules because of course we have to have some kind of
structure.
Yeah, structure, exactly. But then doing things differently and trying to be creative is the core of really being an artist. And I always encourage artists around the SKT community to do that, because sometimes, as you were saying, they're scared, they don't know what to do, they really don't know if they are talented enough to be good for that gallery or that collector. And instead, it's not about that. It's really about what you're doing, how you do it, and how much you believe in yourself and in what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And
so I know that when you approach me, you, apart from asking me to create the content and build the content for the podcast, which was hugely interesting, and that's why I took the challenge, even though I'm not a public speaker, or I'm not like a podcast speaker, or I've never done anything like this, but I found it really interesting. And also with the philosophy of helping artists, I try in each episodes to give maybe some advice that was really good for artists, or even just people who were curious about what's happening in the art world, what what are the things that are there and how maybe things are changing. But you said that you change a lot with SKT and you are sort of rebranding the whole concept. So what's coming up in the future for SKT?
Yeah, actually, I was inspired by something that you were saying when you were explaining to us the job you're doing yourself with artists and collectors. And I think that something wasn't working in SKT. So at the moment, we are going through big rebranding and changing. It's already happening. We changed the logo, we changed our description. Now we are like an alternative art collective promoting emerging artists in the European and London scene. So alternative is a really important word because, as you were saying, we have to do something different from what we see every day. So because of this, we would like to engage with artists in a real community where they can find support, consultancy. There is also something that you can do for them, like you can do call consultancy, like strategy calls, one-to-one, explain to them like how they can change their mindset, what they can do, how they can attract potential collectors or buyers. Because another important thing is also to find people instead of waiting for like someone find you. It's really like everything is changing now.
Yeah, being more proactive. And I think you said an important word, which is mindset, which is hugely important. And as we know, we always go through phases. We're always up and downs. And it's really hard to keep that consistency, even like in your head. And so I think when you ask me to propose let me like a consultancy for artists, I have in mind, of course, given business advice because that's the word I come from, but so practical advice which is hopefully useful, but also really much a tailored approach. So something that is, each artist have different scenarios, different experience, different background. So make me understand a bit more about that and really how I can help and add something different.
Exactly. No, I think this is also super important because everyone is different. Everyone wants to know different things about their own art, how to sell, how to maybe develop the style or taking another direction, because not always, of course, things you're doing are right. So I think that providing artists this sort of services, it's really necessary. And also, of course, then there is our interest for sustainability that is at our heart. So we have the responsibility to educate and to attract artists into this topic because it's really important. And I think that artists' voices are super powerful, and we can really use them in the positive way of the word to spread awareness about this topic.
Yes, we were speaking in episode 5 with the really interesting Marine Tanguy of MT Art Agency, and how they're using really the artists' voices in a very intelligent way and pairing them with brands and making sure that the artist's voice is heard, but also that they're bringing a really fresh perspective on really important topics. So through public art, land art, really ambitious projects, and they find the right partner and the right people to get the artists to work with. And so that's how they have the maximum impact for the artists and for the message and the campaign that they're trying to promote. So that was really inspirational for me.
Yeah, no, for me too. For me too. I really enjoyed. Actually, I was behind the scenes also in that
yes,
occasion.
I remember.
And Marine was super available to host us in her house. So I had that opportunity too, thanks to you, and it was amazing. Very, very inspiring, and everything we did together really, it was a small step towards what we are doing now. So I think that everything you see in your everyday life, you walk, you are in the middle of the street, you see something, you talk with someone, is always important for what we're doing, because art is really life. Art
and I think
life,
even though this is the last episode, we're not going to stop here. We're going to launch some new initiatives soon. Hopefully, we had some ideas, and we have a presence on Clubhouse as well, which again we're going to rebrand and update a bit more in the coming weeks, and then. Hopefully, I will have even some of the guests that were on the podcast already agree to help me, create a really nice debate. And that's another really interesting platform that we're gonna use and also get in touch with different experts, I think, through that, which is it's a
Exactly.
really interesting one, I think.
Exactly. No, no, definitely. Being surrounded by experts is really important because, as you were saying, like, of course, artists have to understand that they have to believe in themselves and doing things differently and be creative. But at the same time, you cannot do everything by yourself.
Yeah.
You really need to be surrounded by experts that can help you making really your dreams come true. It's not always possible, but for sure you can have help and support, and we can really give them this through your strategy calls and also your expertise, because you really can talk about everything. I had
I can talk.
yeah, I had the opportunity
I talk a lot. That's
to
what
talk
they
to
always tell me.
yeah, I don't know, but
Yeah.
you are like an established professional, so you can really give real information, practical information, and this is really important because also the things you see around and the people you're talking to, they're not so available to share the secrets. Instead, you are someone who's really keen to give us really the practical tools, as you always say, and this is something that is not forgiven, and it's really important for artists and for us.
Yes, I wanted to make it, when you said, we wanted to inspire artists, I wanted to make it really useful to ask those questions to each guest that really were, what can we do? What are the things that you're doing and you do it right? What are the practical tools that really makes a difference? What are the things that you're doing right that maybe other people can maybe try as well? Maybe it doesn't work for them, but maybe they can try it and see if maybe it works or not. So yeah.
No, no, of course. And we also, because of this, we also shared something on our socials. So you were available to answer all our artists' questions.
That was
were
fun.
a lot. Yeah, that was very fun.
Some
And
weird
we are-
questions,
Yes,
always.
of course, there is always something different, let's say. But yeah, this is really like the aim of what we're trying to do, and I'm super happy that day I contacted you, and by chance you answered me, because I wasn't really sure, like, I don't know, now I'll contact the blonde art dealer and I don't know what
See
will
what
happen.
happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So do you have any plans for, let's say, immediate future, as the blonde art dealer? Are you working on something that you can reveal to us?
So, well, it's not a secret, but I have an IG live next. I'm gonna keep doing the IG lives because I just find them really, really approachable, interesting, and it's really engaging content on Instagram, which I really like, and they're quite spontaneous. And I tried again to keep them to half an hour. So I'm doing another studio visit because really, breaking again through the artist studios, doing virtual tours, I think it's really good. And I'm doing one with Remy, who was very, very open to that, next week on
That was
Wednesday.
our guest
Yes.
in the podcast.
Exactly, was our guest here. So I'm doing it with him because he has a show which is in his studio, and it's only a couple of days. And again, not everyone will travel to London to see it. And I'm happy that I have quite an international audience. That I really built up on Instagram, and also with your help of the podcast, really to draw attention to it. So I'm going to continue to do that, and hopefully also a really young collector couple in Italy, Collezione Taurisano. They also agreed to do an IG Live with me. We're just liaising on dates and see when that's possible. And then I'm hopefully going to announce soon an exhibition which is going to be online of a really important photographer called Mario Giacomelli, which we're working directly with his archive in Italy, in Rome. And again, he's not being seen that much in the UK. So because I'm Italian, we're actually Italian here in this
we're Italian. It's
venture.
true. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
very
yeah.
Italian.
It's
So to
true.
promote a bit more of his work in Italy, and it's very important here for this photographer. Also saw the anniversary of his death was 20 years ago, and we're liaising with his granddaughter who is managing the archive. So I think it's interesting as a project to discover, maybe artists from the past that they were not really promoted, or they're not really seen a lot. I know photography is quite a niche and quite particular, and it's not something that I have to say I have a tons of experience with, but it's something I'm passionate about, and something a bit different. And also it's quite poetic, and I like the philosophy of the work. And so that's going to be an exciting project in collaboration with the London Gallery called the Black Box Project. We're going to announce it soon, but it's going to be an online exhibition, so that's I'm excited about. Yeah, and then continue really the program online on the Blonder Dealer of articles, interviews, and IG Lives, really to keep the content going. And then I think we're thinking also to provide content in a very different way. We thought initially of creating a course, but that went, moved on and evolved. And I think we're keeping the dialogue open. And I think what we will do possibly is creating with other experts as well, not just only myself, because again, as you say, I don't know everything. I can't just give everything. And we are bringing experts, which is really exciting, in different parts of the art world, and creating really interesting content and webinars that people, again, can join online and watch whenever they want, or they can maybe physically be here as an event. And we have this location, which is wonderful, the Forge, just by Canary Wharf in London. And we can really host, people here when things are a bit more open again. So I'm excited about the opportunity.
Yeah, lots of stuff.
And then, of course, I'm always interested in, looking at artists, working with artists, and working with collectors and discovering new things. So, and now that everything is a bit more open in London, I've been inundated with a lot of shows, of things happening, and also with the new connection that I made through the podcast, a lot of interesting projects coming up, and connections. So yeah, I think there's a lot of good things coming up.
Yeah, it's a lot of very good things coming up.
And you have a show as well, right?
Starting
next week.
Yeah, we have a show on Monday. There will be the opening at Badiani Gallery, Notting Hill, at 6 p.m.
Nice.
And then we will have another opening on the 20th of May. It's another exhibition, and everything is finally opening up. So it was pre-lockdown exhibitions that are finally taking place in real locations, and this will be in Peckham.
Oh, nice.
So we keep the conversation open with you. So we really want to do these webinars because I think they will be necessary to our new community with the new and old artists. And yeah, so I'm a little bit overwhelmed by the opening up of everything again, but at the same time I'm super excited because I see that opportunities are coming up even more than the lockdown, and I think that we can say to ourselves that we've been good because during the lockdown we created all this.
Yes.
So
we were busy.
Exactly, while everyone didn't know what direction to take or what they could do, we created something really important and helpful for the artist community. So
no, definitely, I'm proud. We should be proud of the Secrets of the Art Business podcast. I have already people approaching me on Instagram who wants to be on the podcast, and I said to them, maybe there will be another season. Hopefully there will be, and keeping all these contacts active. So then, if we start something new, and when it will be interesting to bring these new people in.
Of course, we will keep them posted.
Exactly.
And because this is the final episode,
yes,
I will ask you, what's the secret of the art business for Daniela Duppen?
So, yeah, I thought about this. It's complicated. It's a lot of different answers I would like to give. But I think if I have to come from a personal point of view, it's never take no for an answer. That's my personal advice. Maybe it's not a secret. I don't believe, even though I named the podcast that way, and even though I asked that question a lot, just to maybe break the ice and get some advice from the people I was interviewing, I don't think there are any secrets. I think it's a really catchy word that I found. So it's not
no. Well,
but if I have to give the advice, it's just just never take the no. Because you will encounter lots of them, and I think it's that consistency, that keep going, keep doing, keep showing, keep trying, and then eventually something will happen. And it's just really that drive, I would say, that keeps you going.
I totally agree with you.
Yes.
Well, good. I think we said everything.
Yes.
So thanks to you for this amazing first series. Like, I'm sure we will do something more.
Thanks to you and to the team and Max as well. Hi, Max.
Yeah. Hi, Max.
Hi, Diego.
Diego, Gabri.
And Gabri
Yeah.
for the opportunity. You're behind the scenes, but you're very much appreciated. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.